Well, I understand you're the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand that. Yay, sexism in feudal Japan! Not feudal Japan, but Imperial Japan, my bad. Ask only for 5 minutes of time. Sorry, this is post-Imperial Japan. Post-Imperial Japan, way better. Literally, like, post-racist America, way better. Whoa. I digress. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ah, you're too late, little girl. The trial has already been concluded. Nope. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. It's actually a lot of time. But your excellency, I am most grateful. Thank you, Susato. Ooh, she is cute. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it, a report about something? Is it the autopsy written in English? It's Giselle Brett's research. Huh? Englishwoman's. After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's lab in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, her presentation. Yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? Does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? It's the motif. I'm afraid I don't know. Can't read English. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare? What's that? I've never heard of that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom at once. There's no time for me to read in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. Ooh, thank you. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. We finally have the piece we need. Goodbye then, and good luck. Ganbarimashou! You have had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guests any longer. I ask the prosecution and defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but the prosecution has made its case convincingly enough. Already, nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look, the unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. A samurai. Well, Miss Brett. Yes, Your Excellency, if you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid. It's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. No, you don't get to say. Forgive me, Miss Brett, but it seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question, however. I must ask you to treat that as an order. Order the court of law of the country of Japan. I've said it many times before, but Japanese language makes no sense. True, but English makes less sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? There's only one thing I can pick. Was it made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America? Hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Affects instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry, the above-mentioned effect occurs when poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Or in this case, a burn. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory... I was right, it was the anesthesia. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first. Patients would die of suffocation. But here the problem then lies in, how would you time the anesthesia to line up with the gunshot? Unless you only use it as a paralytic and then you shoot him after. In that case, what's the point of poisoning him? But nonetheless, it is an anesthesia. Maybe they just use it as a tranquilizer during the dinner. Mr. Zelbrat, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at UMA University, doing research. Nonetheless, the anesthesia did have it, huh? Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as curare. Curare? Your Excellency, even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete and utter nonsense. Rare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done? Shouldn't that just be you wouldn't have? What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Kira before one very simple reason. Oh, it doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they never identify Cure Rare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order, order. Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Cure has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists to lace their arrows. The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Cure suffer instant death. Oh, instant death? Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery. These aspersions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed. Huh, that's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. Yeah, you heard a gunshot. Huh, I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Cure was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. If they were in total agony, there'd be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. Oh, I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Yeah, but then you shoot him. And he won't scream either. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. Poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Suffocation. Yes, that's what I read. In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. All the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly Cure poison. Oh, that's so sad. And grim. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison. This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. Ahem, if I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be taught some Shut up! It is you who must be taught. Of course, my lady. What a good simp. What a proper simp. My dear lady. Good boy. Learn your place. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work, and then announce the results as if you discovered them? I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? We didn't kill anyone. Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Objection. Agreed. Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. Okay. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. Well, so is murder. That's so funny. Oh, excusez-moi, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? No. What? Just, I don't see why not. Whoa, look at that water animation. Poggers. It's so high def. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Ooh, island boy. We hula. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a partial comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. It's not the bottle, it was the anesthesia administered. I'm getting bored of it all now, it's time for the games to end. No, it wasn't the anesthesia from the teeth. The poison dissipate over time? That could be a case. It's the murder weapon. I want to see the murder weapon. That ties it together. Murder weapon and the coin. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Hunters wouldn't lace their arrows with poison if it didn't. Okay. Guess the water wasn't poison. Where's the gun? I want to see the gun. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. How do we get the gun from water? Poison in water. Oh, no cure error. Bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? Aha! You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. It couldn't have been anesthesia from the dentist, because then he wouldn't make it to the dinner, or the lunch. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I didn't give more than enough of my time. The furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady, we are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. That's actually a really good, like, head on the desk. He's so down in the dumps. It's actually a really good, like, way to show it. Did he even, like, show the, like, really exaggerated reaction they normally do where he goes, ah. It's just him already down in the dumps. And it's, like, an appropriate time, too. For once, this doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. You also didn't research it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attended in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Isn't there? Can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. A bottle of water. It doesn't have poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why? Ryunosuke, isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, you'd be dead by now. Sometimes, your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. Sometimes it's in need of a good staining. Till it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? Oh, was I wrong? It was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry, also for which you will be penalized. Oh, I was wrong. It really is poison. This whole trial is poison. There has to have been poison in the bottle. That can't have been. I guess she has an antidote. Or it's already dissipated. My bad. Alright, I need to stop with the anesthesia at the dentist and curing poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The fence refuses to change its position. That's why she took the glass. She took his glass. Oh, that's why. Okay. She took the glass because she lined the glass with poison.
Objection!
Cool, are you blind? There's no possible way that the bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How? Exactly. I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. Sure, the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. The glass. Very well, the defense surely intends to assert this claim. Then I must ask you to support this assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed. It's the glass, no? It has to be the glass.
Yes.
Huh. Seems the defense, or should I say, the wretched accused. Oh, it's the only real source of complicated. Okay. But that's why she stole it, no? Okay. Let's reevaluate why. I'm making this complication more complicated than it needs to be. Oh, okay. I'll do my best to find an answer that fits the facts. Okay, the defense, sorry, the wretched accused, surely intends to assert this claim. I'm going to support what explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed. Through a wound? Yeah, okay, it's a wound, that's why. Ah.
Yes.
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Attention.
It's because when you don't consume it, it has to be when your body can digest it. That's not a valid explanation, no. After all, we don't speak English. The report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. So you praise the English, but you don't want to use the English? I'm not trying to ridicule anyone else, I'm just reading Susalto's notes. Concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. We'll direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? What was the section heading? Synopsis? No. Enters in the body through a wound, such as that. Okay, special characteristics. Special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this cure or poison. And it left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. I've been led to believe, yes. And poison of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Point of hunting, my bad, I said poison. But if they were to use those laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yeah, and then they couldn't eat them? Yes, good point. But surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Counsel, now that would be madness. Well, I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I was actually gonna say through a wound, you say, without reading the fucking script. That's just like the normal eat gods reaction. I see, that makes sense. Yes, that mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When cure enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, it has to enter the blood. When it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett? You authored this research, you knew Cure's special characteristics, and you knew that you can make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Oh my god, it was a real swan. Rapscallion! You rapscallion! Well, Ryunosuke, turns out, finally riled her up. You're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Attention!
What am I studying in school anyways? We go to the same university, but my major hasn't been dropped once. All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it possibly... Shut up! So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As you and your brain has managed to deduce, Carrera is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Makes sense? Oh, yes? Well, of course. Gastric suckers, what are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, Professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? No! Because he had a tooth removed. Ah, that's right. Good gracious. He had an open hole. That's a wound. That's basic science. Science that even schoolboys should be able to understand, no? Of course she knew about the molar. Order in the court. Order, order. Logic holds. It's the molar. Holy fuck. She's so evil. What? She knew he'd have a teeth removed, so then she poisoned his open wound in the tooth. If the Lane Professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes. And she couldn't have done it on the burn. Initially, I was thinking, when I read it had to be through a wound, it had to be through the burn. But the burn was after he was already dead. So that means he couldn't have been poisoned through the burn, which means the only open wound he had would have been the tooth that got removed. Yes, this Curie poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. Incorrect. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside me? Objection! Do it! Do the objection! I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. More than anything else, it's an animalistic desire. Take down my prey. Wow! Objection! I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know, the poison is completely harmless when ingested. Or Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Curie. Easily. He had a tooth removed.
Take that!
Take that! Ah, as Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. Fatal difference? Toxic effects of Curie are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound, so for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Gasp! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ah! So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. How evil. How truly sinister. But why? Did he shoot down her proposal? Is there something wrong with her research? It seems like it was true. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. Well, what do you mean? A worried little schoolboy? You'll find out soon enough. She's gonna empty the poison. Good job, detective. You're a real good police inspector. See, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. I mean, it could just slip. Catch it! Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! What is it? What just happened? It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed that bottle. And the Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once. Wasting your time. This delightful carpet on my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. I mean, once you just... Obviously, that's a confession. You just make her guilty. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy, but I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? There really was poison in the bottle, or not. And let's not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. Referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. What about the other glass bottle? The other glass. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day using Cure. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around and see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly, and as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really going to get away with it? We should destroy the evidence was seen. Ryunosuke, yes. Come this far, but now... And you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? Lost a vital piece of evidence. It's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing that you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but... I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. Something back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Blood is Kazuma, right? Or in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? It's ketchup. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's sweep the smug smile off the Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling. Niggling? Did Capcom of America or UK write this? I'm just gonna ignore that. That little niggle. Me for a while, that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere, the clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been. Whose blood is that?
Take that!
Take that! I like the British accent on the take that. Dr. Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes. What is it? Oh, he's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, plate of the steak you took to the victim's table that day? Wait a minute, where are you going with that? Where are you going with this, little boy? She just stole his line. It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in the photographic print with my own eyes that day. I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on. It was a spattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything here. Finally, they're gonna realize that the murder was arranged. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Especially since there's no exit wound. Yes, for blood to have made it onto the plate, implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. It means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle, Brett, I beg your pardon. This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense, no? It's how blood works. The court seriously expects... Is the court seriously expected to believe something that accused has apparently just remembered seeing? This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector? You mean... Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. Well, we already knew that. I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice! Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector? Court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Ooh, yummy. No. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there is. The inspector, the blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's not possible. Bakan! No, I saw it. I'm sure of it. It's right there on the table behind the professor. There's blood on the side of the plate. Oh, ho, 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 ho. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. I couldn't agree more. In the case of disgrace to the Empire, I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Yeah, in your jail cell, you bitch. God, this sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. The plate of steak has been entered into the court. Oh! It's the plate I saw. Did I saw just a figment of my imagination? No. You're wrong. It was the right plate. You're just looking at it wrong. Watch. Aha! Huh? There's the coin! I knew it! What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. And this isn't the first time today there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion and bullion. I don't think you ever will again. It's extraordinary, though. This means I knew the coin would be the thing. This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. Not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic anyway, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? Yes, I do have one major one. That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this play of stake reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I'll not be able to turn a blind eye any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. Oh, good thing it's about to end, bitch. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I'll not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. What I see on the plate of beef is this new clue to be found. It's there. How do I shut the coin? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I got it. Now show them the coin right there. That coin. Right there, that one. Over there. Bullion and bullion. Bullion and bullion. Oh my. Oh, it's a different line. I know it's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for price. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Renosuke. I'm going underneath the steak. Only one logical explanation.
Got it!
Got it! Good gracious, that's a juicy coin. A Koban? What on earth? Oh, a arrow one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact a beefsteak. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? Shut up! What a ridiculous question. How should I know? And we go back, now that I'm not blocking the coin image. I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part in it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? It could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction. A careless mistake? Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? Ryohei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. Can't be a coincidence. A coin incidence? Haha! Now that's the fun. A coin incidence. Sorry. Your Excellence. Yes, your counsel? Ryohei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll give up my lawyer job right now. You're not a lawyer. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it's you who is irrelevant. No, I'm the one on trial here. Point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under the steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. Owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is Mr. Kiryo Korekuta. Wait, he's only 67? What the fuck?
Take that!
It's not that old. Looks like he's in his 80s. Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner of Rasute, Kiryo Korekuta-san. Kuri, as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Agreed. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with this Koban coin when it happened. Exactly the moment the gun was fired. Gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoei era Koban, my prized coin. And this Hoei era Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
It's not a coincidence, it's a coincidence. Oh, please, why would Korikuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his plate? It makes no sense.
Yes.
Exactly, because it wasn't hit the victim's plate, which is why I'm asking to bring Korikuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here at once, without a moment's delay. Can't believe we come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch. If we chase down the real significance of this Koban, find that it's a key element in this case. That's what I've been saying since we heard about it. Oh, they're all on stand now. We couldn't get another stand? How'd they make it wider? That's actually the more impressive part. What's all this about? Why have I been called up again? Just realized that it's dinner time for my little baby idol. My son's belly is empty. He's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Quoted by the police, we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. When cast from this courtroom, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Kurokuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this Koban? Wow! Caught the knife with the foot. That looks like hers. That's it. The one, the very exact one that is. The resplendent splendiferous Hoei treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool, put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoei treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing? I think it was one of the people on the stand. Maybe next to you. Excuse-moi. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on in trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah yes, that's right. Secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Looking crimes indeed. So the sergeant's been stealing? Or the antique owner? We want to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. Seems likely. This Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid the Korikuta-san's Koban is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Korikuta-san Koban and hid it under the steak? What was the one eating the steak?
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Yesa Nosa. What? How dare you, you monster? Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me, it was Ido. Ido is the mastermind behind all this. Really? A baby? You're gonna blame it on your kid? You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. Ow. Wah! Too bright, sorry. Oh my god. Wait, it really was this kid. What's going on? Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Iesa Nosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Huh? I'm so lost. Do any of you know the extraordinarily low wages that Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? No. I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflict remains in place, and I have heard that it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you're stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I go there and do reconnaissance for a target. I enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his koban? Yes, sir. He's an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief, you are. Persona? Is he Joker? I was all set to leave this... Whoops. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Bang! When I heard the shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. What an idiot. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett, the whole point of this was because it's the wrong steak. Of course, dear lady, of course, how rude of us. Quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. What a fucking sip. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, your excellency. Indeed. The theft of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. Certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. No, it's the wrong play. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense? Is it? Well, oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well, now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. You, your excellency, good luck, everyone. Bid you adieu, and good day. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh no, it's just something about Miss Brett's parting words that got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly. Something she said jarred with me. Like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard, sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call it now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction? Objection! I'm turning on the light real quick. What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Are you coining a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense and it's pure madness. Wait, how would she have known that? Yes, I'm right. She said they're exposing an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory. Where is the evidence to prove it? I did say it would come back to this.
Take that!
Take that. Photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. Steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, there's a knife and fork. The steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. Yeah, it's bites, not cuts. So you notice it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. That's a bite. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Ah! Looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry. Shut up! Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Well, if you murdered someone, it can wait a lot longer. Of course, this will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything to— Shut up! Heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady! What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly the witness knows what this means. She realized the catastrophic implication these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Yunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. Coin, the blood. It's a different plate. We knew that right away. The blessing I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. Yes, they switched the plates. This is not a crazy idea. And most importantly, evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. Except that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. What exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Shut up! Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase typical Japanese empty threats. I'm sorry, I hit the mic. Probably sounded terrible. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. It's the steak. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? Just because it hasn't been shown yet doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. It's absurd. The trial's run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward. Yes, I'd say it's been run about 3 hours around. Cut out the intermissions and me starting stream. It can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. Yeah, the inspector. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, we'll solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well, I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? Well, the guy that has the steak. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the steak with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told this court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak, as well as admitting to stealing Kurikuta-san's coin. He told us that he'd slipped it under the steak. You watch it, Cadet. I'm superior officer. Who cares? Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? What was the steak that you put the coin under? In fact, your own steak. Attention, affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. Yeah, that was obvious. That makes no sense. What? That plate was taken from the victim's table. You can move a plate. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor does she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be front to the entire British Empire. So they're all testifying that's not her steak. So why are we still on this? Well, how to explain this paradox? Exactly. So you're not going to suggest that the sergeant sandwiched the 2 steaks over. What? You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. Yes, you would. When the cadet here was arrested and taken off the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I searched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing because you left. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you, so yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable. Whoa, plate switch. However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? Surround the brass buttons on my uniform? That's all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sarge. So, Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over. It means he took Miss Brett's steak, and the plate was on, back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this, that they had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also Sergeant's. That, to preserve evidence, he had taken both. That's correct. Then let's see the other steak. Please present it to the court now. Plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. Shut up! I'm gonna plug in my headset real quick. What can that possibly tell us now? You babbled buffoon! I mean, it could sabotage me. I can't have the size bearing on this case. It can't have. No, I can't. I can't. No, you're not wriggling your way out of this time, lady. I beg your pardon. Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a promise for you now. Yeah, there's blood on it. The ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Tisk thinks he remembers. Quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. Now we have the evidence to prove it. Blood not there. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let's not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Wasn't the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident? She seems too calm. Is she gonna say it's his blood? Yes, sir. He's gonna say it's the inspector's blood. I can see the blood from here. Sorry for keeping you. Here's the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. There's blood on it. Can we get it tested? Ooh, it's a knife cut too. The blood stain. It's clearly visible. Now this makes everything clear. Blood you can see on the side of the plate. Just at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. Other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. Can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you. We're finally gonna see under the hat. She can be hot or ugly. Crazy. Or both, or all three. Uh-oh. Outdone by a Nihonjin? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no! Oh, they're so cute. Little, little ducklings or chicklings? Hatchlings? Oh. Chirp, 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 chirp. She dead? She ascended to heaven? She Bible thumped? Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Oh, Miss Brett. This time I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using Curair. As you surmise, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So he planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because Curair is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. Only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. I placed the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone. And leave immediately, however. Before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. I had to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curair in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? I was right. There were two guns. Yes. Then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placer, you're sure that I wouldn't notice it? Everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, bang, 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 bang! That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. Took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. So I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Because of course, I needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun. So there you have it. As entirety of my misdemeanor. Misdemeanor? You killed a man. Your Excellency? Yes. I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? Shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. What? I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. She just gets to walk away? It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement then? This can't be. Takasuchi Aochi does not lose, not to the likes of this rookie student. I've got to start getting used to the tough opposition. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Wait, what? Yes. This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten. Well, that explains why Pain hates him. Let me come concede with the age council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Oh, the top nut. Top nut. A thousand millennia may pass, and still, Aochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. Trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. Use of evidence and deduction to arrive at the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. The Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits. What it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Sogi. Yes, after this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, observe everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget, fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you have to look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. It's for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it? Unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thanks, sir. Did it almost flawlessly. We'll take it, though. It's time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. We did it. This course now adjourned. November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 5. So it's been a total of 6 hours in court. A little bit less than 6 hours, because it started at 8:43 a.m. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I found myself an 8th and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. I could have done it without you. Congratulations. I could have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha 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 ha. It was a pleasure to watch you upward. So you owe me an extra large sukiyaki in the place in the Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work certainly paid off. Susato-san! Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Our trustworthy judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know? Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. Yeah, I had that research report Miss Brett's. I don't know how things would have turned out. Kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings. Okay, Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo. You did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend. Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together. I never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Sogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. That Japanese man's katana is his soul! This blade shows me where I need to go. That's down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to that woman? Dale Brett, I mean, after all, she's guilty of murder. Ah yes, her. Extradited? Not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai? What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. Certain of that. What, but why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga. A hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate. But all this about consular jurisdiction. We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? Well, hopefully the British. Yeah, the British consular court will hear her case somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. Why consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. And so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it! How disgusting. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. Oh yeah, very seriously. Good job, Britain. That's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. What if she's Irene Adler? Yes, change is coming. We're the ones driving it. This is a Sherlock Holmes game, after all. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink, but Professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. Should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. Alcohol! Yay! Glug, glug, glug. In that case, might I suggest La Carnaval? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? And your job's done. Ahem. Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnaval! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. La Carnaval's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh yes, thank you. No, come with us. We need a waifu. Okay, whatever. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. Never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Yeah, we still have a motif, Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke? I want to say thanks again. That's all, you really saved my skin today. Ha ha ha! I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. Huh. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I can't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for being a defense lawyer, oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again. I just did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point. Trust. Listen, Ryunosuke, do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it? I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth, but you have to make a choice about what to believe in, and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner, but being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in even then, and that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Huh, even in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is... Ah, still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. Arrange some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotoba, Susato-san, who acted as my assistant, Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. He helped. He saved evidence. Because of the help and support of... What was that flash? What the fuck? Support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. What? More importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. Le film. End. Got a Steam achievement. Let's go, man. Is this the start of chapter 2? Right here? Okay. So that's gonna do it for me. Right now. I have to go. I will continue this tomorrow on my twitch.tv stream, and I will probably post these into parts. Probably at the to be continued part. Seems like they're good segues. Makes it easy. Yeah, I'll continue this tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to do all of chapter 2. And then I'll do probably one each day. And I will upload them to YouTube, and then we'll figure it out from there. Yeah, I'm enjoying this Ace Attorney game so far. It's good. So hopefully I get to meet Sherlock Holmes or whatever his name. Sherlock